poster boy of jihad in that country, could be a free man in a matter of days. A Lahore court has warned the government in Islamabad that unless evidence against Hafiz Saeed of the Lashkar-e-Toiba is presented under the anti-terrorism law, there is no reason whatsoever to keep him under house arrest. So he could be out as early as this Friday. The court's observation came on a day when the government was to present documents detailing the reasons for Saeed's detention. But the Interior Secretary failed to turn up, leaving the judge in question to remark, and I quote, "No one could be detained for a long time merely on the basis of newspaper clippings." Saeed has been under house arrest since January this year, and in all this time, the government has failed to file the charges against him. Saeed is wanted in India for the 2008 Mumbai attacks in which 160 people were killed. But Pakistan has never put him on trial despite international pressure and all the evidence that India has amassed and shared. There is no legal case against Hafiz Saeed. That is Pakistan's line. Saeed's lawyer says there are only allegations against him. No evidence exists, according to them, that can be presented in the court. Saeed's detention is therefore a violation of human rights. That's again according to his lawyer. He wanted the detention to be declared null and void. Hafiz Saeed has moved around freely in Pakistan despite an Interpol Red Corner notice issued in 2009 for his role in the Mumbai attacks. The Mumbai police have said that Hafiz Saeed was among the 35 people who provided training to the Mumbai attackers, and this training was carried out in 5 locations: Murid Ke, Mansehra, Muzaffarabad, Azizabad and some other places in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. None other than Ajmal Kasab had told the Mumbai police that Hafiz Saeed personally saw the terrorists off in Karachi a few days before the Mumbai attacks. Pakistan, though, claims that India has not given any proof against Hafiz Saeed. India's point is that a comprehensive dossier has been given focusing on Saeed's role, and since he has been declared a terrorist by the United Nations Security Council, that should be reason enough for Pakistan to bring him to trial. That hasn't happened. If Saeed is released now from house arrest, it will underscore to the world once more about Pakistan's role in providing sanctuary and support to terror groups. There are enough indications that the Pakistani army is trying to mainstream jihadi groups by pushing them into politics. The Milli Muslim League is the whitewash being attempted on the Lashkar-e-Toiba, and the group even fielded a candidate in the constituency of Kulsum Nawaz, wife of ousted Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif.
इस मुल्क को नजरिए से हटाकर लिबरलिज्म की दलदल में धकेलने की अब मुनज़्ज़म साजिश और सरतोड़ कोशिश हो रही थी। तो इस मुल्क के लिए जो हमारे आबा व अजदाद ने कुर्बानियाँ दी हैं, इस मुल्क के लिए शुहदा ने अपना खून पेश किया है, माओ बहनों ने अपनी इस्मतें और अपने आंचल दिए हैं, तो ज़रूरत इस बात की है कि इस मुल्क के नज़रिए का तहफ़्फ़ुज़ किया जाए और उस नज़रिए की हिफाजत के लिए अपने आप को आगे लाया जाए।
Well, the candidate lost, but this was only a first attempt, and the Lashkar is only one in a queue of many. To discuss this in detail, we have our Islamabad Bureau Chief Taha Siddiqui. Good evening, Taha. Is this an indicator that Pakistan is finally ending the farce and paving the way for the release of Hafiz Saeed from house arrest?
Well, it certainly appears so, Palki, in the sense that we've seen that since January, when he was put under house arrest, journalists and then now even the court have repeatedly asked the government, the Punjab Home Government, which looks after law and order affairs, for reasons for why these individuals, including Hafiz Saeed and his 4 of his aides, were put under house arrest. And that too, just to correct the record here, the house arrest has been of a nature where he has been conducting press conferences from his house, releasing video statements, carrying out activities from what we know and what we understand in Lahore. His organization is pretty much operative during last Eid, which is the Muslim festival here. His operation was they were collecting charity. So they're pretty much the operation is pretty much being run by him only, and he's the head of it. And despite repeated questions by the courts after the petition was filed by A.K. Dogar, his lawyer, the government government has not come forward with any evidence, any sort of justifiable reason for why they're keeping him under house arrest. Once they did submit a sort of a letter which came from the Home Ministry saying that he is a threat to public order. But then when they were asked to explain that, no other explanation was given. So overall, it seems like the government is just trying to buy time, keep him behind house arrest, which is sort of and not really come out with any concrete proofs against him, even though it's the job of the government and the prosecution. And we've seen this before also in 2010 when after the Mumbai attacks, similar sort of thing happened when Hafiz Saeed was put under house arrest. He fought that house arrest through the courts, and eventually he was allowed to be free, and he was allowed to go free. And again, the government did not provide any evidence. And this is, besides all of this, is the fact that the FIA, the Federal Investigation Agency, one of their own director generals, recently wrote a piece and talked about similar things that you were mentioning in your introduction about how these Mumbai attackers were involved with Jamaat Dawa or Lashkar-e-Taiba, where they got the training. So there is investigation that has happened in Pakistan, but those investigation reports are not coming forward by the government to the courts.
And the deadline ends in 2 days from now. What are your sources in the government telling you? Are they going to present something, some sort of evidence, whether or not it holds water in a court of law, just for appearance's sake?
Well, from what we understand, the Lahore High Court is sort of, in the past we've seen trends where the Lahore High Court has not ruled against the government. So yes, they're making noise right now. This latest sort of news development has come from more of the remarks by the judge rather than any verdict as such. When it comes to making a decision, we've seen, last time in 2010 the courts did allow him to go scot-free, but this time around there's a lot of pressure. And also then there is this other project that is going with regards to the MML, the mainstreaming of these kind of groups and jihadis. So the establishment, which is actually the one that decides these policies, the military establishment, as of yet they want to do a wait-and-see approach because there's international pressure, with the Trump speech, the safe havens in Pakistan, terrorists in Pakistan. So there's a lot of pressure, and that is why we heard initially that he was put under house arrest to sort of show the world that Pakistan is taking some action. So it seems like in 2 days when the hearing comes on, it is most likely, as we've seen before, that it was deferred. It might be deferred for a new reason, and every time there's a new reason and they defer it, so they kind of like keep buying time and keeping him behind house arrest, but not really taking any actual action.